This episode of Dungeon Crawlers Radio is brought to you by Geek Girl Realty. Are you looking for that fortress of solitude or a cottage in the woods? Geek Girl Realty can help you out. Check them out at www.geekgirlrealty.com.
Dungeon Crawlers.
All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Dungeon Crawlers, where we have Alton the Magnificent, the man who has brought us into a dimension of doom, scariness, and maybe we might wet our pants.
It's an all-new dimension. I'm excited.
It is. For those of you that are fans of role-playing games, this is something you'll want to pay attention to. Just because you're going to see something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So, without any further ado, I'm going to have Alton... okay, first off, let's split this apart. You're listening to the audio, or you can be watching the video and seeing the amazingness that is Dimensions. So we'll leave it at that. If you're listening to the audiobook, yes. Yes, this is an audiobook, the podcast. You will only hear the thuds, the sounds, the dice rolling, but you can check out the video and see everything in its glory.
Yes, we'll be explaining the playtest as we go through to our audio listeners. But at the same time, if you want to check out the actual playtest, go ahead and check out the Kickstarter. They'll have rules on there.
Yes.
But we can get into that with
the Kickstarter of Dimensions.
So, Alden, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Super excited to be here. It's going to be a good day.
Yes, it'll be a good day. And
You say that, and every time someone says that when we're about to play a Dungeons game, I get scared. Because who is it going to be a good day for? The Dungeon Master or me? Because usually...
See, I'm not even going to be the Dungeon Master on this one, or the Game Master, but it's still going to be so much fun.
Oh, now I'm excited. Because my fate is Dan's fate. Okay.
Yes.
All right, suddenly I feel a little bit better about life.
Scott's going to live.
Nice.
So for those of you that are watching the video, you're just seeing this cool table space. But that will change.
Mm-hmm.
With my first visual aid.
Yes, Alton has brought a visual aid. So, yes, that's giant tomb of horror for those that play D&D.
And we need to explain, this is not the game. This is Dungeons and Dragons.
No, yes, this is Dungeons and Dragons. This is the actual core books that you need: the Dungeon Master Guide, the Monster Manual, the Player's Handbook. Because this is a collector set, it also has some tiles, or is that?
It's
a DM
screen.
Yeah.
Now this is a pretty hefty thing. How heavy is this?
Yeah, so this is about 10 pounds. And this is the minimum that you need as a player to learn the game of Dungeons and Dragons and play a true campaign.
Minus dice, because you don't have dice.
No dice, no character sheets, no pen and paper.
Mm-hmm.
This is just
the minimum books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there is a starter kit that they've put out that is D&D light.
Right.
Yes. Nowhere near that weight.
Nowhere near that weight. It contains one set of penny dice, so one of you can have dice and the rest of you will have to fight. And it has watered-down rules and character sheets to help you learn how to play D&D. It lets you go to level 5.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, 32 pages for the players to read through to learn how to play the game, and an additional 64 pages for the Dungeon Master, including, a miniature campaign that's about 20 pages, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
But that means that, you're going to have to take an hour or two just to learn the rules, get comfortable, not to mention the prep time on the part of the DM. It's just going to take a lot.
So here it is, folks.
So
how does Dimensions compare?
Okay, where's the rest of it?
Inside the box.
yes.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
You see, this is a beautiful thing. This is what we call our box of holding.
But
now this is a prototype, right? But the dimensions, all puns intended, of the box will stay roughly the same. And then let me show you what's inside.
This is what's going on in my head. The Asian guy from UHF. Do you want to know what's inside the box, Mrs. Weaver? Just that was a horrible accident on my part, but there you have an entire game inside a small box.
And we have specifically engineered this box. I don't know if you can tell, but this is rigid cardboard. It's the same stuff that you would make your standard board game boxes out of.
Yeah.
And we are paying the additional expense because we specifically want you to be able to keep it in your pocket and walk around with it all day. This is the prototype, right? It's a little bit shoddy,
Right.
but even this I've had in my pocket literally all week, taking it in and out, showing it to people.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
Yeah, that's held up really well. And
Well, and the nice thing is this can go on a camping trip with your friends. You can walk over to the park. I mean, there is nothing more annoying than lugging around D&D books or game books. I mean, I've done it, going to conventions or even to friends' houses to play. It weighs a lot, but the fact that everything fits in this box and you can walk around in your pocket and it doesn't feel like your pants are going to drop down to your ankles, that's awesome.
Now, the other thing that I would like explicitly to point out is that underneath these character cards is the basic rule set. This is not a watered-down rule set. This is a double-sided 10-inch by 7-inch piece of paper that contains everything that you need to play Dimensions for as long as you want to.
All right.
If you have experience designing modules and you want to rapid prototype a game with friends, you can do it. There's the first page and the second page, and obviously, blank space, right? This is the preliminary copy. Yeah. We're doing a little bit of layout and updates as far as that goes, but the rule set, I'm showing it to everybody right now. That's it. We are producing additional advanced rules that add texture to the game for people who want it to be a little more crunchy, or a little more intense. Mm-hmm. But we created this game with a couple of key things in mind. The first is I want it to be highly portable. I want people to be able to take it everywhere with them, play pickup games if you're going to Comic-Con or if you're in between tournaments or
if you're on the train.
Yeah, if you're on the train, if you are going through and...
I can only imagine. Hey, I got this cool game. We got an hour to kill on the train or 30 minutes. Who wants to play? I mean, knowing our mass transit system, I don't know anyone that would want to raise their hand, but who knows? Maybe someone would.
I love our train.
And then the other big thing that a lot of our playtesters have been doing is they've taken copies of this, is they actually bring it to D&D. And while everybody else is creating characters, they sit down and they play pickup games.
Nice.
Which is a lot of fun. You'll also notice that we have these nifty little miniature markers. We have designed these cards with the intent that you can write directly onto them, and erase and take notes and do whatever you want to.
I'm going to try this out while you're talking.
Yeah, go for it.
So
I was going to say, this is an actual
14
version of it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at that. That works really well.
Uh-oh, is this a permanent one?
I don't know. I hope not. I hope I didn't permanently do this.
We just barely got this in from our supplier yesterday. I haven't even tested it out.
Oh, no.
That's okay.
Well, folks, this is the joy of live TV.
The good news is...
Maybe should we cut for a second? Let's cut for a second. No. I want to...
No, this is how prepared Alton is. He has another card.
I have backups to backups.
Well, maybe that's my collector's card for this. Yes. Okay. So you can... Hey, this is great because, warning, do not use a permanent marker on your cards because it's permanent. Yeah. Well,
but,
anyways.
we have been testing them with just regular dry erase markers, and it's been working wonderfully.
Nice.
We wanted the game to be super accessible to everybody. The other thing that we are developing hand in hand with this is we have a digital companion. Try it on this one first, just in case.
Yes. There it goes.
Okay. Good to note. This is a permanent marker.
All right.
Maybe grab one that's not low odor. Low odor are always annoying.
All right.
Here you go, Dan. Here's what I'm joking. That's a Sharpie.
Oh. What are you doing to me? Embarrassing me in here. Okay. Like 1, 2, paper towel, right?
Well, let it dry. If you don't let it dry, it'll smear. Even on the best whiteboard. What? Why are you looking at me like that? You got.
No, I like
This is whiteboard 101.
I know. I like this. You can wipe that off, and then you can just clean it off. I'm just gonna move this off to the side because I'm just doing crazy stuff with cards. So we'll let you continue. So you can write on them, you can manipulate and change them as need be.
Yeah. So super accessible, super easy, right? You're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You'll have everything that you need. The second thing I was talking about was our digital companion. So we have designed a series of modules that are specifically geared towards, people learning to play the game. You will be able to go online to our website and redeem these character cards for digital versions as well. So if you just want to have it on your phone, you can take it wherever you want to go. And the campaigns allow you to be able to run a module without needing a whole bunch of prep work and background. People who have never played a role-playing game before can sit down and navigate through our adventure portal without any issues.
Nice.
And as part of that, and we'll talk about this a little bit later too, if our Kickstarter funds to a certain level, we're actually going to turn the campaign portal public facing for people to be able to design their own campaigns using our software.
Nice.
And having designed modules for over a decade, I can tell you this tool is sweet. It saves so much time, and the number of things that you can do with it is pretty extensive. Mm-hmm. The final thing, the biggest thing though, the number one feature that is vital to Dimensions is that this is a game for people who have never played a role-playing game before.
Okay, so it's super simplistic so people can pick it up really quick.
If you can count, you can play Dimensions. You don't need algebra. You don't need a PhD to understand the rules. Literally count the pips on your dice against the pips on the opposing check's dice, and whoever has the higher number wins.
Nice.
Ties go to the player. And so we've been testing this even with kids as young as 4, and they get it. They play it. They have a great time. And then, they're learning how to play role-playing games, which is really great.
Very nice.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. So anyway, do we want to play a little sample, show you some of the mechanics?
Sure. Let's do like a combat or something. Ooh, I have red dice.
Have some blue dice.
All right, I'll steal some blues over here.
Okay, so the two cards we're going to show off today are the Ranger and the Barbarian. Mm-hmm. You'll notice a couple of things. So you have your class icon, you have your hit points, your level. These are your stats, and then you have a special ability in the lower right-hand corner. Right. So for those of you who have not played role-playing games before, in Dimensions we have 5 primary stats. The first is Strength, which is your ability to crush a tomato and or slam one into the side of somebody's head at maximum velocity. The second is Dexterity, which is your ability to throw a tomato accurately and or dodge one that's coming straight at you. The third is Intelligence, which is both knowing that a tomato is a fruit and being able to summon one at will. The fourth is Charisma, which is your ability to sell a tomato-based fruit salad and or convince somebody that your tomato is a dragon.
Sweet.
And
Neither of us can do that. Neither of us.
And then the last mechanic is Luck. And luck has nothing to do with tomatoes whatsoever, so we'll talk about it in just a second.
Hey, no, it does. It could be lucky to find a tomato on the side of the road.
That is entirely fair.
It would also be lucky to find a nice tomato without a worm in it. Like that, I consider a lucky day.
How many tomatoes do you get with worms in it?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. Fair enough.
Traumatic experience.
I've never had one. Maybe cherries.
And
Cherries
so now I'm seeing we also have a special ability each.
Yeah.
Yep. So there are 2 types of special abilities fundamentally. The first is a limited use. So it'll tell you can use it so many times per level. So you start at level 1. Periodically, the adventure portal or the storyteller will tell you to level up. And when you do, you reset your special ability, get some additional hit points, get some additional stats, things like that. The other is a constant ability, which is something that just works all the time. And at the end of the episode, I'll actually give you guys a special preview of one of the exclusive cards from Season 1 that has a constant ability.
Okay, so these aren't constant abilities then.
No, these are once per level.
Once per level. Okay.
Yep. So, as for those of you, again, who haven't played role-playing games before, you make decisions during the game, and as you make those decisions, oftentimes you have to roll dice to determine how successful you are at those decisions. That's called a check, right? In Dimensions, we notate it very, very simply. So in the adventure portal, the storyteller looks at what it is, and for example, let's say Scott here is presented with 2 different tomatoes, and one of them has a worm in it, and we're going to see whether Scott can identify which one has the worm. Scott, do you want to be the ranger or the barbarian?
I'll be the ranger since Daniel's kind of claimed a barbarian over there.
Perfect. So,
Yay! I'm as dumb as a rock. Yay!
Yes, but your strength, I'm guessing what?
I could crush you if you hand me a tomato with a worm.
Oh, you could also project that tomato at me, probably at about 100 miles an hour, because you've got 3 strength pips. I've got 1.
Yep.
So if I try to catch it, I'm guessing my arm will rip off. Sorry, go on. Yes.
you're just fine. So what's going to happen is I look at the adventure portal, and the adventure portal is going to say int 2,
All right.
which means that I roll 2 dice against Scott's intelligence, which is 1.
die.
Oh, no.
And whoever has the higher number wins. So I rolled a 6.
And
I
you
rolled
roll
a 2.
So Scott takes a look at both tomatoes, picks one of them up, bites into it, and right in the middle of that tomato is a worm.
Yep.
And he gets sick and takes 2 points of damage.
So that brings up a question. So whatever. So in case of strength, I roll 3 dice and I add the total.
Yep, the sum of all the sum of the dice.
Okay. So I mean, so this isn't a dice pool type system then.
Not strictly.
Okay.
Let me demonstrate the next mechanic.
Sure.
So Daniel
Yes.
takes a look at the other tomato, sees that Scott got a worm, and because he's a barbarian and not very bright, he says, "Well, I want to see if there's a worm in my tomato." So the
I have no intelligence.
the storyteller takes a look at the adventure portal and sees the int 2 check.
Yes.
Turns to Daniel and says, "Daniel, I need you to make an intelligence check."
So how do I do that? Because I have no dots.
Daniel says, "I have no dots in intelligence." That leaves you with 2 options.
Okay.
Option 1, you can choose to automatically fail the check.
Okay.
Option 2, you can use your luck pool.
Oh, hey, there's the luck.
So
I'm gonna go lucky because I'm a barbarian that likes to chance fate.
So, at any time that you are about to make a check, you may choose to use your luck pool instead of the stat that's indicated by the adventure portal.
That makes more sense.
Now, when you
I really
use
like that
luck,
idea.
there's a special rule.
Okay.
After your roll is complete and you've totaled everything up and figured out who succeeded at the check, you permanently lose a luck die from your luck pool.
Oh.
But
So your luck runs out.
I guess that makes sense because your luck will eventually run out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But if you ever roll all 6s on a given check, doesn't matter whether it's a luck check or any other stat, you gain a die to your luck pool.
Now, if he's rolling dexterity, because he's got a 1 dexterity, he only has to roll 1 dice. If he rolls a 6.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now,
like that.
we've purposefully left that in the game to encourage you as players to think outside the box.
And to use up your luck.
Exactly. So you can play this as a min-max game and just beast your way through.
Yeah.
But as you use your weaker abilities, you're rewarded for trying something new. Yeah. But at any rate, let's get back to the scenario. So
Okay.
we've pulled out our tomato.
All right.
Daniel wants to take a look.
I do.
Let's see. I rolled an 8.
All right. Here comes the lucky roll. Oh, yeah. It's a 7.
It's a 7. So Daniel takes a look at his tomato, can't quite tell, bites into it, and unfortunately there is no worm.
There's no worm?
No.
Dang it. I wanted a worm. That would have been tasty.
And Daniel gets
And that's why
super
he's the
angry about this.
Yes.
So
I
typically
slammed
speaking,
my mighty axe into the wall. Oh, wow.
I was going to say the tomato, you mean?
so typically
No,
speaking,
my axe. Because I'm mad. I didn't get a worm.
So typically speaking, you can't attack other players in your party during the game, but just to illustrate how combat works, Daniel is going to get very upset and slam the rest of his tomato into the side of Scott's head.
Hey,
So
I didn't pick this.
I'm still gonna die.
I
I'm still
didn't
gonna
pick
die.
this.
there are fundamentally 3 types of combat. The first
Okay.
is melee, which
All right.
uses strength.
Yep.
The second is ranged, which uses dexterity. And the third is magic, which uses intelligence.
Okay.
Because you're physically slamming a tomato into the side of his head, this
I'm
is a
using
melee
strength.
attack. Yeah. So you roll 3 dice, Scott, you roll 1 die.
In this case, should I use luck and try to?
You may if you wish.
I think I'm gonna use that because
That is an 11.
that is a very unlucky 4.
So, Daniel slams the tomato into the side of Scott's head. And how do we determine damage? The way that damage works is you count the number of dice that the successful player rolled, and that's how much damage they deal.
So 3.
3 points of damage.
Okay.
So Scott takes 3 points of damage. Because he took 2 from the worm earlier, he's now sitting at a pretty 2 hit points.
That worm
And
was
because
bad.
he used
Yeah, it's a bad worm.
because he used one of the dice in his luck pool, he would mark on his card that luck is down to 1, and then the next time that he makes a luck check, he uses 1 die instead of whatever's in the pool. Let's not worry about it, unless he earns additional luck dice in some other way.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
to earn the
foundationally-
luck, all the dice you roll have to be a 6.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Which makes characters like the barbarian relatively risky,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, like, if Scott had rolled the 1 die and got a 6, it's a lot easier for him to get luck on that stat.
Like for hypothetically, oh no.
no.
Hypothetically, I still would have taken a hit.
Yep.
Dexterity. Nope, close enough.
Now, one of the other things that you'll notice is that there are 5 grayed out dots
Yes.
in each stat. You can have a maximum of 5 dice in any pool. Now, mathematically, what that does is it ensures that no matter what, you have a chance to succeed at your roll.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 1 die in a pool and the other person is rolling 5 dice, there is technically a chance that they roll 1s and you roll a 6.
That would be very highly unlikely. But
Highly unlikely,
but
there is that
hypothetically-
chance.
Yes.
Well, how many battles have you entered into? You're just like, yeah, like it just makes sense.
I've got this. Nope. Yeah.
So when you do level up,
Mm-hmm.
so like level 2, level 3, how does that change your stats?
Yeah, so when you level up, there are 5 things that you do. The first thing that you do is you roll a die and add whatever you roll to your maximum hit points.
Oh wow, okay.
So in this case, if I rolled a 5 for Daniel, my maximum hit points are now 15.
Okay.
The second thing that you do is you heal up to your maximum hit points. The third thing that you do is you add 1 dot to your current luck pool, unless you're already at 5. So if you have used all of your luck dice, you get 1 for free. Congratulations.
Yay.
The next thing that you do is you add 1 dot to any other stat, your choice. It cannot be a second luck dot, though.
Okay.
Again, with a 5 dot maximum. And then the final thing that you do is you refresh your special ability so you can use it again before you level up next. So really straightforward, super simple. One thing to note for enfranchised players, the base rules of the game do not support you leveling up past about level 12. At that point, everything starts to become very wishy-washy. We have some rules variants that are specifically designed to allow players to advance to higher levels, so make sure to check that out on our website. But the goal, again, is that brand new players should be able to sit down without knowing anything about role-playing games and play their first adventure in about an hour.
So, one question I do have. So, with the leveling, because like in D&D, there's a chart. How do you determine when you level up?
So the adventure portal keeps track of a whole bunch of things behind the scenes. It lets us do some really cool stuff. And
Okay.
one of those things that it keeps track of is XP. Now, as a storyteller, if you're creating your own campaign, what we recommend is that 6 XP equals a level up.
Okay.
And you reward players based on the encounters that they have. So, the more difficult the encounter, the more XP that you reward. Typically, you reward between 1 and 3 XP based on the encounter. So, as many as 6 actions, as few as 2 gets you a level up. And all of our Season 1 campaign, each episode is designed to level you up a minimum of 1 time. And if you are exploring thoroughly, then you can level up an additional time, or in one case, 2.
Nice. No, this looks really fun and exciting, and it's very simple. like I said, you can easily pull it out and start a game immediately without a lot of explanation. I mean, you're able to explain it right now. If we were to try to sit down and explain how to play D&D, I'm sure we'd be here for a few more hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is simple. You take the number of dice based on the number of dot. You have the luck option in case you don't have a stat, which that's always kind of annoying when you're like, oh, I don't have anything. Let's try it. But this gives you an ability with that luck stat to try to do something and do something awesome. And I like how it refills. Now, so if you well, no, because you're rolling luck, not rolling stat. So I just answered my own question. Never mind. I'm just going to go on.
So the final thing that we didn't talk about is what have I got in my pockets? Now, most of you should get that reference, but it's one of the key rules that we have in the game. This game, unlike most traditional role-playing games, because we wanted to simplify it as much as possible, is called Theater of the Mind, which means that instead of physically moving characters across a map and having to record every single little item and gold piece and whatever else, if you think that you have something and the storyteller agrees with you, you have it, which enables us to do some really cool things. So we have examples, right? Player says, I want to pull out my broadsword. Sure, easy. Super simple item, right? Next player says, well, I want a ray gun. If the storyteller says, sure, then you have just crossed dimensions, which is entirely a plausible thing. Now, we have designed, at the present time, we have fully designed 6 dimensions.
Okay.
Each with their own lore. They're connected to the main storyline. It's going to be super, super cool. But that means that we have developed magic systems and item lists and special character cards for those dimensions. So the big ones that you'll see in the Kickstarter, obviously high fantasy is going to hit the widest audience. And so that's where we started. If we fund and hit some of our stretch goals, the 2 realms that we're going to introduce in Season 1 are sci-fi, dystopian sci-fi specifically. So think StarCraft, Warhammer.
Okay.
Right.
And the second is Victorian steampunk. Those 3 realms have very distinct identities.
Yes.
And distinct magic systems, distinct cultures, but they're all tied together in a key storyline. And if you decide that you only want to play steampunk, you can just play steampunk. And if you decide you only want to play high fantasy, you can just play high fantasy. But the systems that we're designing are specifically to enable you to play your favorite fandom. And we have plans not only for internal IPs, but we're reaching out to other companies as well to produce some cool stuff.
Now you say that you've got all these other things. Is there any kind of like storyline that goes along with those, or is that
yes?
Okay.
So first off, make sure to check us out, https://dimensions.games. That's our website. It's live right now. It'll direct you to an email list and to the Kickstarter if you're joining us in the future. And if it's past the Kickstarter and you're joining us from way far in the future, it'll enable you to access the adventure portal and all of our digital content and things like that.
Okay.
And we're going to be spoiling, not necessarily spoiling, but releasing parts of the lore through the website. The key interaction in Season 1, I'm not going to spoil too much, but we're on a realm called Elnaria, which is our high fantasy realm. And there have been rumors that there is a group of cultists that is trying to summon evil back into the world. And as you go through the adventure of Season 1, you're going to discover the roots of that. You are going to discover flavorfully how you travel between dimensions. And most importantly, you're going to learn about the key villain that will oversee the first 3 seasons of Dimensions.
Nice. I just decided. I'm going to stay the barbarian, but I want the power sword of King Grayskull. Then I can just yell by the power of Grayskull every time I charge into battle.
I mean, based on what he said, if the storyteller agrees with you,
I know. Totally.
You're good to go.
I am.
Yeah, if that's the kind of game that you guys want to play, you do it. And that's the beauty of Dimensions, right? Is that we're not trying to tell you how to play or what your fandom has to be or anything like that. We're creating a tool that anybody should be able to sit down and play.
No, this works out really nice. It's very smooth, simple. Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything more. That's so much better than lugging around a giant tomb of books.
I'm impressed. I actually want to play a full game, and see how it plays out because I'm intrigued.
So, for you and your listeners, I have 3 gifts.
3 gifts. It's a trifecta, right?
I don't know. I feel like it's Christmas all of a sudden. I wasn't expecting anything.
So
It did snow yesterday.
The first thing is that I'm going to invite Dungeon Crawlers Radio to be our first affiliate. We're going to give you guys a distinct link that you can share with your viewers and your friends. We're going to track those referrals, and we're going to give you guys a kickback based on how many people sign up for emails and how many people jump onto the Kickstarter. So, we want to support Dungeon Crawlers the same way that you've supported us. As part of that, anybody who checks out that affiliate link will be able to access an exclusive demo game that we're only going to keep up until the main game launches. But it will introduce you to the worlds and give you a little bit of background lore. I've personally designed this. I'm super excited about it. There are 20,482 possible combinations to work your way through this 30-minute storyline. That does not include party combinations, bad rolls, cheats by the storyteller, anything like that.
I was going to say, don't worry, I'll take care of the bad rolls.
You have turned a choose-your-own-adventure book into a game.
Yes.
There it is. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's what it is.
And of those 20,482 possible combinations, there are 4 endings. 3 of them you can only access one way. So I put the challenge out to you personally and to your listeners to find those endings. One of them will give you huge amounts of lore information that will be crucial to Season 1. 2 of them are fun little Easter eggs, homages to some of our favorite backgrounds, and we've hidden Easter eggs and puzzles throughout the entire dungeon. So explore it, play it as many times as you want. So get excited for that. The next 2 gifts are, I want to spoil 2 characters for you.
2 characters. Mm-hmm. All right.
Nice.
The first is associated with this affiliate link. So if you run a podcast or a playcast or are part of a major social media group or anything like that, and you decide that you would like a demo copy of the game and an affiliate link, we have a form that you can contact us through our website. We'll send it out to you as an application. And if you pass the application, we have some limited edition playtester cards.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you'll notice a couple of things. The first is, while most characters only have 6 pips to start, this one has 8. 1 in each stat, which is unusual. It's not something that we're going to do on any other card. And 4 luck to start with.
And they are lucky.
Yeah.
But the special ability is Experiment, which once per level, you can use the special ability of any other character in your party, or you can use the special ability of any character card that you own. So even if it isn't actively in the game, you can do that. Now, the reason that this is important is that these cards are collectible. First off, we're going to have multiple arts. So, there's that. The second is we have between 2 and 12 variants of each class. So even if you get a ranger and your buddy gets a ranger, you may not have the same ability.
Interesting.
So are you saying per game? So like if I ordered one on Kickstarter, Daniel ordered one on Kickstarter, we both got the exact same base game, he might have a different ranger than me?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And in the lower left-hand corner, there will be a 6-digit code that you can go online and redeem your characters for additional digital content. It'll give you lore, it'll teach you how to play the character itself, what items you might have, what spells you might cast, and give you nicer, larger versions of the characters that you can print out. The goal with the Kickstarter is that we produce a whole library of original art. So the goal is that eventually you'll be able to customize your character, switch it out. If you're on a sci-fi realm, you'll have a sci-fi barbarian and things like that. So as you collect these cards, there'll be first edition printings and then unlimited printings. So there's a degree of collectability there as well, but it'll unlock additional things for you.
Nice.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The other card that I want to spoil for you today is the Gambler. This is a premium card that will be randomly inserted into Kickstarter packs. It will not take up a slot. It's just a bonus character that some people will end up with. You'll notice he has 7 hit points. He is collector number 7, collector's card number 7, and he only has 1 variant. He has 1 intelligence, 1 charisma, and 4 luck. And his special ability is a constant ability. This is the first constant ability that we're going to feature as part of the game, even though there are other constant abilities that you'll see as part of the character pool. Whenever any other character rolls a 6 on 1 or more dice, add a die to your luck pool. The maximum of 5.
Yeah, because everyone else has to roll 6s on all their die. Anytime any 6 pops up, he gets luck.
Yes. Not on his own rolls, but on other people's rolls.
Oh, on other people's.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that, like, if I'm rolling, say, I as the ranger am rolling 2 dice, I get a 6 and a 2. He doesn't get to benefit from that 6. I'd still have to roll 2 6s for him to benefit.
No, he benefits because
Gambler gets a die.
He gets a luck die because of that 6. You don't.
Well, I wouldn't get it anyway because I didn't roll 2 6s.
You're right.
Yeah.
But he does.
But he does.
Yeah.
But if you roll 2 6s, both of you get a luck die.
Wow.
The big thing with the Gambler...
Or would he get 2 luck die?
No, it's whenever you roll 1 or more.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
The big thing with the Gambler is we want to feature the luck mechanic. So we encourage you to play with it. He is an improvised character. So whatever you decide to come up with for your luck roll is going to be, it's going to be cool. We've had players, as they've play tested, kill people with coins or summoning gigantic whales out of the sky to land on their opponents, or praying to their gods and summoning a lightning bolt.
The ideas are rolling through my head.
So we really encourage you to explore and come up with fun, creative things and share, what you're doing in your games with us, epic moments and cool ideas. You can tweet me directly at Talon_Requo. That's TALON_REQUO. Or we will also have a place on our website that you can submit notes and cool things like that. So interact with us, especially if you have feedback on the game, special abilities or classes that you want to see. Let us know. So those are the 3 gifts that I want to leave with you guys.
I feel gypped that I didn't get to play with the Gambler. I want to play him now.
I think everybody's going to want to play with the
giant
Gambler.
tomato at Scott's head.
Yeah, because 4 die continuously, and they just has to wait another round until someone else rejuvenates that 6.
Yeah.
Would he just have
No,
rejuvenated a
it
6?
has to be someone else.
Any other player.
Any other. Right.
Yep.
So Scott fights back. Oh, look, I got another luck point.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to fight against the Gambler, who's almost like a deity. He's...
Yes, he is a demigod character.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We specifically wanted to, and with each realm, we'll release a premium character like this that you can only get as a physical character card. You won't be able to buy it digitally, but they're demigod characters that break fundamental rules of the game and let you explore cool mechanics and interactions.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a lot of fun.
All right, so, folks, this was an awesome card game / roleplay game. Granted, it's not technically a card game, but I like the card mechanics. So you have that in front of you. You have specialty cards or characters that you can play. And even the playtester has a really cool ability. Granted, it's not constant like the Gambler, but still, you've kind of thought of everything. There's going to be more mechanics that'll come into play, I'm sure, as more characters evolve and show up with the different seasons. Even Wizards has gone kind of to that. Where they have a core game and they're doing modules that they keep releasing out, new books that expand character base and magic items. So this is a lot like that, but much simpler and easier to carry around, obviously. Even if you have Season 1 and 2, that can go in both back pockets. You're not carrying around 20, 40 pounds of books with you. The dice system is simple and clean. This is really awesome. So
Thank you.
So everyone, go jump on the Kickstarter, support this. Sounds like a really awesome game, especially if you have kids that you want to bring into the fold to play this game, or if they want something that's quick and easy. This looks really simple. There's not a lot of rules. It's not rules heavy. It's rules light. They can become storytellers. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I loved with role playing, is it allowed me to tell stories and develop my skills to be able to do that.
And it's a lot less intimidating than having massive rules. Like, it's just something quick, simple, lay it down. Like, you see that card deck and you're like, oh, yeah, I could do that. That looks easy.
Page, front and back. That's it. When I first played D&D, it took me a good 3 weeks to get through all the DM rules, to figure out what I needed to do, and then beyond that, I had to figure out how the mechanics with the monsters and their stats and the leveling up all worked. This is all simple. I mean,
it almost needs to be nowadays, because there are so many games to play. There are so many amazing games coming out that we need something simple that you can just.
Well, I mean, that's something we have talked about on the show before, where it's with how quick and easy it is nowadays. I mean, when we wanted to play a video game, you had to go to your friend's house. You had to put the cartridge into the game system. Sometimes you had to play with that cartridge up and down before it finally kicked in and you could play it. And that was really simple for us. But, you go back a few years, the only way to play a video game was go to an arcade. It's gotten more and more simple. Like, nowadays, kids can just grab their phone or a tablet, and they can play it right there no matter where they're at. This is just like that. No matter where you're at, you can play it. And this is a lot better than any game you can play on a tablet or a phone. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I always love this type of stuff, because theater of the mind, you get to be creative. You're interacting with people physically.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's one thing that a lot of people are losing now with video games. Again, nothing wrong with video games. There is still a need for that. They're fun. But you kind of lose that mechanic of interacting with other people. As much as Scott complains about my games, it's fun. It really is. I mean, no matter how torturous or laborious or evil the bad guys are, everyone's having fun. People are laughing. Someone makes a mistake.
Everyone suffers.
Everyone suffers. It's a team thing. Everyone is pulling to win. And it's always fun. So this is great to see it in a smaller, condensed version.
Thank you. So here is my plea.
All right, his plea.
If you have ever felt excluded or worried or afraid about joining an RPG, or you know somebody who is, whether that's a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, grandma, 4-year-old kid, which we have tested this game with extensively, anybody, check this out. Just try it. The investment is super cheap. The time investment is almost nothing. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Send me your feedback. But I guarantee you, there will be something in this game for you. Whether you're an Easter egg hunter or a seasoned veteran of role-playing games, or if you just want to try to bash the dragon's head in.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game for everybody.
All right. So, folks, check out this Kickstarter, Dimensions. Help them fund it, and maybe next time Scott will use his dexterity to dodge the tomato that I threw at him.
Not if the gambler's in play. If you're the gambler with that, I'm not.
All right, so I'm going to roll some dice, and with that said, we're out of here.
I got to roll against it.